Hey, good morning. How's it going? It's Jen Carsonson. I'm a realtor in Memphis and sell about 100 houses a year. So follow along with me for day in the life of what I do every day to get to 100. Today is Friday. It's my favorite day. It's my favorite day because it's the end of the week, but we are like, woo, crazy jam-packed. So I am doing so many things I can't even spill them all out. I just know that we're listing properties pretty much every single day. Things are going under contract. The world has opened up and everyone has seen the value and the importance of buying a property, whether the interest rate is 4, which it would never be again, or 6, which is not that big of a deal. I mean, I understand if the interest rate is 6 and you're wanting it to go lower, it's probably not. Nobody has given any predictions. Economists, global economists, local economists, blah, blah, blah. No one's ever said anything about ever getting below 6. So I think it's really important for buyers to do the math themselves on either a mortgage calculator or whatever on the difference between 5% interest rate and a 6% interest rate. Like, I get if you're in like the $1 million range, which a lot of Americans are in, unfortunately. Like, what? That's the average first-time home buyer price in some markets. Like, when I got into the business, the average first-time home buyer was about 125, 130. 150 maybe, 150. Now it's 350, and that's just a very quick, maybe 8 years. So what does that tell you? A consumer that's looking to buy a house, what does that tell you? That tells you that owning a home, no matter if you have to have a plumber out every once in a while, no matter if you have to replace a $1,200 hot water heater, no matter what, your equity is building. Like, we have not had a year where equity dipped in a very long time. I'd have to look it up before I spout off that knowledge. But I want to say maybe almost 20 years ago we had a dip. I'm not sure, like in the 2008 issue. But anyway, we're thinking it's going to go up 3%, 3%. So you just do 3% of the purchase price, and that's about how much you should be expected to increase on your home value. I don't know. Maybe people are realizing that rents are inflated and it's stupid. And how often do you call a handyman? I mean, the cost of rent, I get people that do it, and there are some valid reasons why folks do want to rent. Like, if they don't want if you're going to move to a city and you're not going to be there for longer than maybe 5 years, I get it. So, because it might be hard to sell, because if you're using a realtor and the fees and all the things involved, it might be really hard to sell. I get it. But if you're buying a home and you're going to plant some roots and have a couple kids, whatever, have a couple pets, establish yourself in a market, it's definitely better to buy. And if you don't believe me, maybe Google or look on Zillow the house that you're living in and see how that value has increased over time. You can just scroll down and see 10 years ago it was worth this much, and 10 years later it was worth this much. I mean, I am a landlord, so I will be the first to tell you that I have long-term tenants, and they have pretty much paid off my mortgage. I mean, not pretty much, they have. So they have paid off my mortgages. And so what they have is stability over the last decade of living somewhere and being awesome tenants. But what I have is an income generation system that's going to last forever, until I want to sell them, which I never will. I'll pass them on to my kid. So the path to establishing wealth to me has always been owning real estate. I mean, yes, you can dip your toe in the market. I leave my financial advisor to handle that for me. He's very capable, but I like to buy real estate. So I know I digressed from what I was originally going to talk about, but that's just kind of what I do when I'm driving to work. But so anybody that is looking to invest in Memphis, things have changed a little bit. So I think the Tulsa market, the Alabama market, like Birmingham, I think the Arkansas market, Little Rock area. I think there's some other markets in the country that haven't been saturated by investors yet. We've been saturated for a decade, not gonna lie, decade. And so what happened recently in Memphis of note, and if you're going to buy a property, you should also want to know this information, is when was the last time the houses were assessed? Because assessment's different than appraisal, like you know. And what are the laws around assessments to home value? Like, for example, in Illinois, when I lived there, in Chicago, I lived in a suburb, and it was illegal, against the law, to have your house assessed at a greater value than a current appraisal. Couldn't have it. In Tennessee, I don't think that it's the same law. So what happened recently is everybody's property in Shelby County got reassessed, and it's been a shit show, because I don't think taxes have gone up considerably or notably in at least 10 years. So you're talking about, for example, I had a home that I bought for $40,000 back in the day, and the assessment was like $27,000. Okay, so I'm paying taxes based on the assessed amount, right? So I'm paying nothing, maybe $500 a year, maybe $300. It wasn't very much. That same house that I paid $40,000 for back in the day at $27,000 assessed value is now assessed at $60,000. That is like twice as much now. So it might not seem like a big deal to go from 27 to 60. However, my taxes are also going to go up significantly, which means the delta between what I would owe, the delta between what I would profit is going to shrink. Luckily for me, I don't have a mortgage, so I don't really have a delta. It's just, okay, well, instead of netting, let's see, that house I'm getting $850 a month. So instead of netting whatever it is, you take your monthly rent minus your taxes, divide by 12, whatever that is, that's going to be really pinched for somebody that has a mortgage with an investor mortgage of like 6.5, 7, right? So what's that going to mean? I hope it means that all these properties have to sell now, because I also heard someone say that homeowners insurance rates are going to go up right now too. So you got two factors, right? You got homeowners insurance rates going up, coupled with taxes going up in just my city. And I think what we're seeing are people are like, screw that, it's no longer a good market for me to invest in. And while that might sound like a terrible thing for the investor, I kind of think it's going to be a good thing for the homeowner, because maybe that will push some homeowners maybe that'll push some renters into some home ownership, because they're not going to want to keep keep renting an apartment or renting someone else's house, and the rent just keeps going up every year or two, and that's still happening. So rent is still inflated, and I can talk about that in another video because it's astronomical. All right, have a good day.